Attorney General, and I think he'll make the best governor that I've had the privilege to work with. So with that, let me introduce Bob McDonnell.
Wow, what a warm FOP Lodge 8 welcome here today, and I really appreciate this great turnout. It's a terrific day for the campaign. Thank you for your leadership here at Lodge 8, and for JJ and all the rest of you that worked so hard to make this a great lodge. I appreciate it. I remember joining back in 1991, I think, or 90 as a young prosecutor here, and I think when I finally knew what I was doing in the lodge, I got the privilege of tending bar one night. I think that's what they finally let you do. Got fully indoctrinated into the lodge, but I really appreciated my long-standing affiliation with the Fraternal Order of Police. I want to say just a word about Ken. We're going to sorely miss Ken Stalling in the Virginia legislature. He has been unquestionably the public safety expert now for 18 years in the legislature. Nobody knows more about law enforcement and public safety, and nobody's been more effective in advocating for the cause of public safety and getting bills through than Ken Stalling. I know this is going to be a top priority in my administration. Ken, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do without you there, but he is truly an extraordinary public servant. I know he will be a great sheriff, not if he gets elected, when he gets elected, replacing another great sheriff. And let's give Ken a round of applause for The funny thing about that bill I carried for Ken, it was a 5-year mandatory minimum. They did give me so much grief, and they grilled me about a half an hour on the floor. Ken, I think you were there in the back row cheering me on at the time. But a 5-year mandatory minimum sentence, and they asked me the question, well, what evidence do you have that if we pass a bill like this is going to reduce crime in the future? And I said, well, it'll keep that person off the street for 5 years. And I think that logic sort of wore in, and you're right, it passed. It passed with a pretty big margin. It's great to be with so many of your leaders in the public safety community, Paul Lantain, Harvey Bryan, who did a terrific job on the front lines of the safety system. Your current president, who's here from Henrico, Tommy, and former President Tommy Dart, former president, and all the rest of the board members, Kevin, and everybody else that's here. I really appreciate your outstanding leadership of this organization. Today was a terrific day for my campaign. To stand in Richmond with my 2 running mates, with the leadership of the state FOP, and receive the endorsement was truly an outstanding occurrence, because I think Ken is absolutely right. I've said it every time I've been fortunate to get the endorsement, is when you're running for governor and the top priority of state government is to provide and promote public safety, that getting the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police truly is the greatest endorsement that you can get, when you have the stamp of approval of the brave men and women in uniform that protect our civil liberties every day in this Commonwealth. It is truly the best sign of support about what type of person, what type of office holder that person is going to be. So thank you very much to all of you for your confidence in me. As Ken mentioned, it's really what prompted me to get into public life nearly 20 years ago, was being a prosecutor, Harvey, and seeing at that time the revolving door of justice for convicted felons serving 1/6 of their time, victims not being properly supported, police officers not getting the pay and benefits they needed. That's really what prompted Ken and I back in 1991 to decide to run for office, and has really been my top priority ever since. And you can see that reflected in the legislation that I've carried, from abolishing parole and truth in sentencing, 3 strikes and you're out, internet safety reform, sexual predator reform, drug driving reform, gangs, you name it. Working together with Ken, we've enacted so many reforms that have put Virginia really at the forefront of law enforcement, one of the safest states in the country. This city, because of our gang down here, is the safest city of its size in the nation. Let's give them a round of applause. But particularly those of you out there that are wearing the blue or the brown of years ago, the 400th anniversary of the foundation of this nation. We constantly celebrate our Bill of Rights, our Constitution, our Declaration. But I've said many times, those documents have limited meaning and do not have full effect without brave men and women in uniform that wear the badge and the gun, that are willing to fight daily for those liberties of all of us, and do it extraordinarily well. It's tough work. You never know what's going to happen when you're serving that caveus, or when you're going to the domestic violence call at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's extraordinary work that you do on the street, in the jails, in the courtrooms, and so many other places. So I salute you, and that's why having the support of the FOP means so much to me, because it wasn't just Tommy and Tavi and Marty and Kevin and a few others sitting around a table making the endorsement. It was really a grassroots endorsement with all of the lodges all over the state, learning about the candidates, interviewing the candidates, getting the candidate questionnaires, voting independently, and then having a statewide tally of the votes. It truly is a grassroots organization that has now picked Bill and I and Ken to be a candidate. So it's a tremendous honor for me. I look forward to continuing to work for the cause of law enforcement and public safety. Constable, I'm going to need your help next year. You're going to take over for Ken Stalin to be the champion of public safety, as you have been for several years. But we've got a lot more to do. I've made some proposals to really crack down on the repeat drug dealer who doesn't nearly get enough time, to make sure that we've got lifetime monitoring for those violent sexual predators that are let out after civil commitment or not civilly committed, to make sure that we've got the proper resources at every level of law enforcement, that we've got the pay and the benefits that our law enforcement officers need, so that those who are in charge, the sheriff, the police chief, can make sure that we recruit and retain the best and brightest men and women to go into law enforcement. What we absolutely cannot do is change the terms of the deal for your retirement. It's 25 years of service at age 50. I'm committed to keeping it that way. We cannot turn our back on you. You came into the service knowing that that was the deal, and I'll make sure that stays the deal. I've got it's just exciting to be back in my old Lodge 8. Thank you. This golden card is terrific. Being one of only 4 lifetime members, along with my friend Ken, what an extraordinary benefit and privilege it is to be back here. So for those of you that serve every day in this Commonwealth, I want to say thank you. I salute you. I want to let you know you'll have a friend in the governor's office to make sure we advance the cause of law enforcement and public safety. It will be a top, if not the top priority in the budget, and we'll work together to assure our citizens, all 7.6 million, that public safety is the top priority of government. So thanks so much for you coming today. Now, I need your help. This cannot be the end of your help. There are 40 days and 40 nights, kind of like Noah, here that we've got before Election Day on November the 3rd. I know a lot of you have actively been involved in campaigns before, but now that you've given me your endorsement, I need your help. There's nothing more important. Ken, you know this, John, Rosemary, Paul, the rest of you, Harvey, that have run for office, you know this to be true. There's nothing more powerful that you can do in a democracy than look a friend or a neighbor in the eye, or send them an email, or make a phone call to them, or write them a personal note that says, look, I believe in McDonnell, Cosgrove, Stolley, Bowling, Cuccinelli. They're going to be good for law enforcement. They will make sure that our officers are properly funded. They're going to crack down on drug dealers. They're committed to public safety. I need your help. I need you to go vote for them. Nothing more important than you can do. If you do all that, I call it the hard work of freedom. Maybe knock on some doors on a couple weekends for us, make some phone calls, put on a bumper sticker sign. If you do all that, I'm absolutely convinced that no matter what the other side throws against us, that we will win. So thanks for your support. Thanks for all the hard work for the next 40 days, and I appreciate all your service to Virginia. Thank you.
Let me follow up on that, Bruce.